Hello and welcome to the Chemistry Academy. In this video we're going to go over polymers in relation to the National 5 chemistry course. So there's a few terms that we're going to get started off with just to make sure you understand what they mean, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of drawing and naming polymers. So when it comes to polymers in National 5 chemistry, you will often come along across these three terms: monomer, polymer and repeating unit. Now it's important that you understand what each of these things are and what the differences are between them. So the monomer, if you were to translate the word monomer out of Latin, it would mean single unit. So the monomers are the single units that make up the polymer. So monomers will join together in order to make the polymer, which translated out of Latin means many units. So you can see they were really imaginatively named back in the day. So the polymer is just made up of many of the single units joined together in a long chain. When you see a section of a polymer, it will always have brackets around it just to show that that is just a section, and sometimes you will see the letter N afterwards, which means that that section can repeat N number of times, just depending on how long your polymer chain actually is. We then have the repeating unit. Now this is the repeating pattern that exists within the polymer. Normally the repeating unit is just one monomer's worth. Sometimes though, when you get what's known as a copolymer and two different monomers have been used to make that polymer, then the repeating unit will consist of two of the monomers joined together. We'll come to that again a bit later in this video. But essentially the repeating unit is usually just the monomer with its double bond opened up. So I like to describe it as the monomer with its arms out. So if you think of the monomer as having its arms crossed like this, creating the double bond, the repeating unit is when the monomer has it opened up so it's ready to join onto other monomers to create your polymer chain. In National 5, many years ago, you did used to learn about two types of polymer. You would learn about addition polymers and also condensation polymers. Although many years ago, condensation polymers were taken out of the National 5 curriculum, so now you just learn about addition polymers. The reaction that happens when polymers are made is known as polymerisation. Again, another very imaginatively named chemical process. And the addition is because it is an addition reaction that's happening. The double bond opens up and the monomers add onto each other. So in order to make an addition polymer, you really do need a monomer that has a double carbon-to-carbon bond. So any molecule that has a double carbon-to-carbon bond could act as a monomer for an addition reaction. If you're asked then to give the type of polymerisation that takes place when a certain polymer is formed in your National 5 chemistry exam, it will always be addition polymerisation, because you don't learn about any other type of polymerisation anymore. So sometimes the question confuses people because they think, is there other types of polymerisation I should know about? But no, there's not. It's just addition polymerisation for you at this stage. So let's have a look at how we draw polymers. So normally in the exam, if you're asked to draw a polymer, you'll be asked to draw a section of polymer showing three monomer units joined together. So I've got three monomers here, and all we're going to do is join them together to create a section of polymer. So because normally you're asked to draw a section of polymer that contains three monomers, you will always have a chain of 6 carbons. So you would draw first of all your chain of 6 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just make sure you do the sticky out ends. Then all you have to do after you've got your chain of 6 carbons is have a look at your monomers and see what the repeating pattern is going to be across the top. So we can see on the monomers it's CLH, CLH, CLH. So that's the pattern that I'm going to repeat across the top here. CLH, CLH, CLH. Okay. Then along the bottom, we've just got H, 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 H. So we would add those in as well. Then to finish off our polymer section, we just put our brackets around it. You can put the N if you want to, but it's not required. So I'm just going to leave it out here, but you must put the brackets around it. Okay, don't forget the brackets. If we were then going to name this polymer that we've created, so the monomers here are vinyl chloride. in order to name the polymer, all you need to do is put poly at the front of the monomer's name. So if the monomer is called vinyl chloride, your polymer will be called polyvinyl chloride. Okay, and it is as easy as that. Normally the brackets go around the monomer name, but it's not essential to do that, it's just good practice to do that. Let's have a look at another monomer that we could form a polymer from. So this time we're going to look at propene. So if I draw propene out, and I'm going to show you a little trick first of all as well. So say you're given propene drawn like this. This isn't really drawn in a way that makes it easy to draw the polymer, because it's not really in this sort of H formation, if you like. You see how this looks like an H letter? So what you do is take this branch, well, it looks like a branch, but it's just the CH3 group on the chain, and fold it down. So if you imagine taking this and just folding it down so it points this way. So if we redraw it like that, then we end up with our CH3 group down here instead. This is then in a better formation for us to be able to draw the polymer section. So if we were to draw a polymer that had 3 of those monomer units joined together, again we've got a chain of 6 carbons, because each monomer has 2 carbons across the double bond. Oh, draw the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got my sticky out ends. Then across the top we've got all H's, so we would just draw that pattern in. And then along the bottom, we're going to have HCH3, HCH3, HCH3 repeating. And then lastly, add in our brackets. So this monomer, like I said, is called propene. That means then the polymer is going to be called polypropene, with ideally the propene in some brackets. So it's easy as that. If we were then asked to draw the repeating unit for these polymers here, the repeating unit is normally every 2 carbons. It's usually the pattern that repeats. So my advice would be to draw squiggly lines. I'm just going to change the colour of my pen. So if you draw a squiggly line every 2 carbons, then you'll be able to see one repeating unit section. Okay, so to then draw the repeating unit, you're just copying what you see within that squiggly line section, and don't forget to put the sticky out ends on. So that would be the repeating unit for that polymer. And then if we do the same thing for this one, every 2 carbons draw a wee squiggly line, then we can see our repeating patterns. So our repeating unit would just be one of those drawn with the sticky out arms, and that would be our repeating unit for that one. Okay, if we then just finish off here looking at a copolymer, so these often come up in problem solving, but it's just sometimes good to have some exposure to what they actually mean before the exam, just so that even though it's problem solving, you kind of have an idea of what the problem you're trying to solve is. So a copolymer would be where you've got 2 different monomers within making up the polymer. So let's do a copolymer that's made up of vinyl chloride and propene. So that means that we've got propene as one monomer, and then vinyl chloride as the other. Okay, so when they add together, again, you might just get a section showing 3 monomers together, but we'll do 4 for this one. So we'll do, if we've got 4 monomers joined together in the polymer section, then that's going to be 8 carbons in a chain. 7, 8, sticky out ends. And then for our repeating patterns across the top, we just want to look at what's at the top of these 2 monomers. So we've got HHClH. So that's the pattern that's going to repeat, HHCl, HHClH. Down the bottom, we've got HCH3HH. So that's the pattern that's going to repeat across the bottom, HCH3 H, 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 CH3, H, H. And then we just finish it off with our brackets. In this instance though, for the repeating unit, the repeating pattern doesn't occur every 2 carbons because there are 2 different monomers in it. So that, in this instance, what's going to happen is that the pattern will repeat every 4 carbons. So in a copolymer, your repeating unit will contain 2 monomers. That's what I mentioned earlier at the start of the video. So our repeating unit here would be that 4 carbon section. So if we do the 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons, again, don't forget the sticky out arms. And then we've got H, H, Cl, H across the top, and H, CH3, H, H. And that would be your repeating unit for that copolymer. Okay, so a copolymer is a polymer made up of 2 different monomers. So like I said, that comes up in problem solving, but it's just sometimes good to have a bit of exposure to it before you encounter it in the exam. So that's the main things that you'll get asked about the polymers, is how to draw a section of the polymer chain, to identify what the repeating unit is, and potentially also drawing the monomer from the polymer. So if you're asked to draw the monomer from the polymer, you would just, again, do a squiggly line every 2 carbons, draw a repeating unit section, but instead of putting the sticky out arms, you would just add the double bond back in. So actually, let me just do this as an example here. So we would have our section that within our squiggly line, and then instead of doing the sticky out arms, you would just put the double bond back in. Okay, so that's the difference between, like I said, the monomer and the repeating unit. The monomer has its arms crossed, double bonds back in. The repeating unit has its arms open. Okay. The last thing that we're going to look at quickly is the problems we have associated with burning plastics. So plastics are very cheap to make, but they are very difficult to get rid of. They don't biodegrade naturally. They will stay around for years and years and years. So the only way we can technically break them down is by burning them, but that's not good for the environment because a lot of toxic gases can be produced. So some of the gases that you need to be aware of, if I just stick this up the top here. So any plastic, doesn't matter which it is, any polymer, if you burn it, you will produce carbon monoxide. So CO, carbon monoxide, is produced, and that is toxic. So that's obviously not good. That's harmful to us and other things, living things around us. Sometimes with other plastic or polymers, there's other gases that can be produced. So for example, this one here, because it's got chlorine in it, you can produce hydrogen chloride gas, which is also toxic. If the polymer contains something called, if the polymer contains something called a nitrile, so CN, then that means you can produce hydrogen cyanide gas, which is also toxic. So, but the best one to go with is carbon monoxide, because that's produced regardless of what elements are contained within the polymer. So I'll just add a wee note here. Okay, so I've added in here that if it contains chlorine atoms, then you'll produce HCl gas, that's also toxic. And if it contains cyanide, then you'll produce hydrogen cyanide gas, which is also toxic. So ideally we don't want to be burning plastics. So that gives us our summary of the polymers topic for National 5 Chemistry. I hope you found that useful. If you did, please give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again soon.